Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP level 100 UCHIGATANA build guide in Elden Ring. So the UCHIGATANA is the starting weapon for the samurai, and it's actually a really effective weapon. So I'll be going over the full leveling guide and what stats to take if you're a little bit higher of a level. So to wield the UCHIGATANA we need at least 15 dexterity and 11 strength. Also, the Blood Nagakiba is a really nice offhand weapon requiring 18 strength and 22 dexterity. So we can get both of these as they're going to scale similarly, and you can also get the Nagakiba really early on. However, you can just use two UCHIGATANAs. I just like the extra reach of the Nagakiba, so that's why I went with that. At level 100, we got 50 vigor, 18 mind, 28 endurance. This allows us to medium roll with at least 56 poise. You want to be getting your poise up to that number, so 51 at the very minimum of 56 is ideal. And I went 18 strength to be able to equip the Nagakiba. If you're not going with the Nagakiba, you just need 11 strength. And then I went 24 dexterity, 15 faith, and 16 arcane. So I put the blood infusement because we actually don't lose a lot of damage. It still scales well off the dexterity, so the physical damage loss that we get is not that great, but it increases the blood loss build up to 84 on both these weapons, which is actually really good. It doubles it from 45, so we're going to stack bleed so much faster without a great loss to our overall damage. However, if you're facing a boss that's bleed resistant, switch it back to whatever type, or you can put a lightning on it, or even magic damage, whatever the enemy is weak to that you're fighting. That's the nice thing about these weapons. Now, I got the white mask here because it's going to increase our damage after inflicting bleed. Same as the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, so blood loss and vicinity increases attack power. These stack very well together to give us a ton of damage. And then whatever armor, you can get your poise to 56. I also use a rod and wing sword insignia. You can just use this sword insignia there, or the ritual sword talisman. Any of these are just going to increase our damage. Even the Millicent's prosthesis is pretty nice to increase our dexterity too. And then the Shard of Alexander for increased damage, but you can even go with the Warrior Jar Shard, or really any other, like the green turtle talisman, or the healing talismans. Now, I also have the raw meat dumpling equipped here because our mimic tier will use this to heal itself, so that's really nice there. A little bit of extra bonus. So swap these. You ideally want to have your healing potion on the first one, so you can press down there, and it brings us to the Crimson Flask. So the typical way about doing combat with this weapon is we got incantations that we can use. So unfortunately, with if we have the blood infusement, we can't use blood flame blade, but if it's keen infusement, you can use the blood flame blade on it. Now, what I think works really well is we're going to want to stack up our flame grant me strength first. This will give us a big boost for our damage, and then we can take out our Nagakiba. And seppuku is a really good one, so it's going to give us further increased damage, bleed damage there, so we can put that extra damage on the blade, and then just go with the jump attacks there. So if you're going with jump attacks, put on the Raptor's Black Feathers armor, and also equip the Claw Talisman. But if you're not, we can just do these attacks here. Now, I think that the best choice for the attack is actually the double slash here. So this is the weapon art that I'm using. It does a ton of damage, and it has a decent range to it too, because your character will kind of jump forwards. So I recommend using this just because the damage that it deals is incredible. So yeah, this goes pretty hard. I would recommend also using the Nagakiba probably in the main hand if you're going to go that route, but even so, having it in the offhand is really good. If we go ahead with like a jump attacks, we'd want to put on the Claw Talisman here and change this into the Raptor's Black Talons. So that's a different armor that's going to increase the damage of our jump attacks, the Raptor Black Feathers there. And then we can go ahead with jump attacks. So they would one-shot, which is really nice, knocking them off the edge there. So jump attacks are pretty fun, but I would recommend focusing more so on just your overall dodge roll timing, because this is a weapon that we do need to get a little bit closer to the enemy with, so that is one thing to keep in mind. But double slash is a really effective Ash of War. I'll be showing you another few Ash of Wars that work really well in this. I prefer typically the Nagakiba because the range it has is so much greater than this one, but still, the UCHIGATANA is an extremely useful weapon. So for some different Ashes of Wars, we can go with something like the repeating thrust is nice for closing the distance on enemies, so you can go with that. Also, Bloodhound Step is nice for just, it gives you a dodge that has more invincibility frames, so better survivability. I think that this one is really great too, but I personally like a few others. So the Glint Blade Phalanx here will give us the ability to create a ton of posture damage, so this is a really nice one as well. Flame of the Red Mains, it got nerfed, but this used to be really effective. Still very effective. It throws fire in a range in front of you, and it does a ton of posture damage, and it oddly enough is really good against Malekith. But I think that the best option for this is actually the Bloody Slash. Now we got Blood Blade, Blood Slash, Blood Tax, and Seppuku. I have Seppuku on the offhand. If you're going against a Chilling Mist, actually can be a pretty good one, because this will give us the cold damage scaling, gives us frostbite bleed or frostbite buildup. But as you can see, it creates frost on the blade and then also in front of us, which will deal frost buildup. So Chilling Mist is actually really nice because it gives us that frostbite in the vicinity, which will deal extra damage. I think it's really effective, so you can go with that as well, another option. But what's nice about frostbite is it increases the damage that the target takes by 20% once you trigger it. And if you trigger the bleed buildup, will increase our damage by 30% as well. So we're getting a ton of damage buildup just from triggering bleed and our frostbite. I think that is one of the best infusions if the target's weak to frost. You can even go with like the Hoarfrost Stomp or Divine Beast Frost Stomp. I like Blood Tax and Blood Slash. I'll show you what these look like. They do reduce our health a little bit, so that is one thing you got to keep aware of. That Bloody Slash will lower your health, but it can one-shot a lot of enemies, and it deals a ton of bleed damage and just overall damage as well. So it'll go through shields too, which is nice. It doesn't fully kill through shields, but you can see there, it hits in a large area and takes out a ton of enemies. So that can be an extremely useful Ash of War, but there's a few others. I really like Chilling Mist personally myself. I just really like the cold builds, but I'll show you Blood Blade there. I don't think this is as good as Blood Slash, but I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like. So this is that there, and it's kind of like using the Reduvia dagger, but it doesn't give you any bleed buildup on the blade afterwards. And it doesn't hit as hard. So I'm not a huge fan of that one, but overall I think that going with like the Blood Slash there, or even going upwards and using one of the DLC weapons like Flame Spear is pretty cool. I'll just give you an example of what this looks like with fire scaling. What's nice about this is the Flame Spear will actually give you the ability to attack with the fire on the weapon. So things like Chilling Mist and this are really great on it, but I would recommend going with Chilling Mist because the frostbite buildup is so powerful. But there it is. That is an OP UCHIGATANA build guide in Elden Ring. If you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you all in the next video.